Good morning, everyone. Pastor Stitch, Narrow Path Christian Church, BC, Bay City, Michigan. Welcome to the Biker Devotional. Today is March 30th, 2024. It is that Saturday between Friday and Resurrection Day. That day where the disciples, Jesus' mom, everyone in Jerusalem that was excited about the Messiah was at a complete loss. Jesus was in the tomb, and it was silent. That's one of those days where if you're not prepared and you don't know what tomorrow brings, it can be very disheartening, very difficult. But I'm grateful for the fact that we've got the book. We've got the end of the story, and we know what tomorrow brings and how amazing that is. But as I was reading this morning and reading in Proverbs chapter 30, I read this verse, and I'll be honest, I've read it hundreds of times myself, but I don't think I've ever spoke on it, except for maybe individually with others, and probably made a joke of it because, well, it's one of those verses that is very precise in what it says. And often pastors won't touch on it. But I think today someone needs to hear it. We're going to look at Proverbs 30, verse 20. This is the way of an adulteress. She eats and wipes her mouth and says, I've done nothing wrong. So often in our lives, we look at what it is that is right on the edge of okay. And we find the loophole of whatever it is. An alcoholic will say, well, I didn't really have a drink because I only drank a non-alcoholic beer. Here, we're told that an adulteress gives a blowjob and says, I didn't have sex. Today, teenagers say that they can have anal sex, and it's not really sex because it's not vaginal sex. We always look for the thing to get around the rule that is in front of us. Maybe you're married and you know that you can't be with anyone else, but you've got your fantasy lover that you've allowed each other to have, that if you ever had an opportunity to be with that one person, you got your pass. That's still adultery. But we do it in so many other ways as well. We know we're supposed to read the Bible every day. Pour into the Word and let it pour into us. And so we get one of these and we read a page every day and we say, I'm in my Word every day. I read that devotional. It had a Bible verse in it. I read the Word. Yes. In the technicalities of things, yeah, we can convince ourselves we're okay. Men and women always, I can't say always, often decide to read the romance novels and say, but I'm not looking at porn. But the romance novel is stirring the same things inside of them that watching porn would, looking at porn would. We need to be careful today, especially on a day of silence, a day where hearing God is more difficult, that we don't find ourselves in those positions where we find our loophole. And when it comes down to it, it's days like today that the disciples would have struggled the hardest. And we're told that they went to the upper room and they prayed. And I don't know that even I spend enough time doing that. But it's something God's working on me in. And it's the reason he brought this to my attention today. I got to remember that there are no loopholes when it comes to what he says. How about you? Are you prepared to have days of silence without looking for the loophole? It'll be hard. It was for the disciples. It was for Jesus' mom, Mary. Can you imagine what she was going through? And yet, tomorrow we celebrate his resurrection. And we get to remember that we don't have to find the loopholes because the answer is in Jesus Christ. Proverbs 30, verse 20. The way of an adulteress, she eats and wipes her mouth and says, I've done nothing wrong. In what area of your life are you finding the loophole to say you didn't? It's a good question for me, and it's a great question for you as well. Let's look for that today. I love y'all. Hope you have a great day. God bless.